Welcome to Jeni's Splendid Ice Cream. It is shocking to me how many people we can squeeze in here, although I have to say, I don't see anybody eating ice cream. Sure,
let's slide over a little bit.
On behalf of the more than 300 people Jeni's will have on the payroll this year, it's my pleasure to welcome you. You'll see Jeni doing what Jeni does so well here in one photo, but know that she is prepping right now for a book tour that will start in mid-June, and so she sends her best as well. It's our pleasure to host in part because Senator Hughes was a sponsor for Senate Bill 2, which was the legislation that enacted the governor's common sense initiative. And I want you all to know that we're big fans of that sort of thinking in the State House.
It fixed your problem, didn't it?
It did fix our problem.
Why don't you tell them?
Yeah, so we put some fine wine and liqueur in the world's finest ice cream. And that is not an inexpensive ingredient to include. But because of Ohio's liquor laws, sometimes some people would say antiquated or at least unique, we are forced to buy those at retail. And I'm happy to report that the Common Sense Initiative has struck and the Senate passed and the governor signed a change that allows us to buy wholesale as we do for all of our other ingredients. So it will enable us to buy in quantities that make it easier to put in our artisan ice cream and hopefully save us a little money that will enable us to hire more people and continue to grow Jeni's by continuing to make great artisan ice cream. So thanks for coming. I want to personally thank Senator Hughes and welcome him here to Jeni's.
Thank you. I think it's only fitting that we're here for a common sense initiative discussion about this bill, considering we're in an ice cream place. It's almost pushing 80 out there, very human to say the least. So what I would hope is that people would partake and help our small business owner, John, who hosted us here today, by having somebody get some ice cream before they leave. So I think it would be a very good idea. But on to the main event why we're here is it's my pleasure to introduce a man who I've known for over 30 years. A very good friend of mine, good friend of my dad's, as well as my family. Our governor, Governor John Kasich.
I can tell right off the bat we're here with a hostile crowd. But these are business people, you know, and these are a lot of small business people here today. And small business people really are the lifeblood of bringing Ohio back over time. I mean, we like the big hits, but we also have to make sure that we nurture the small businesses because they're the ones that really hire the people, and that's we got to take care of them. So, as you all know, when I came in, things were really extremely difficult. I mean, we had about an $8 billion deficit, largest in the history of the state. We've lost more jobs in the last 10 years than every single state in America except for Michigan and California. And as I like to say, you know, Michigan, you have to put the auto industry, the dependence on it, you can understand that. California, you know, too many wackadoodles out there, so, you know, we know why they've lost. And so the first thing we try to do is to have our program put together to eliminate the structural deficit without a tax increase. And some people would say, well, why can't you raise taxes? Well, raising taxes just makes us less competitive. Now, I've had to help with a few district businesses that we thought were getting ready to go. We knew that American Greetings was thinking seriously about leaving, so we had to help them. We had to help Diebold. We didn't want to lose Diebold because we already lost NCR, and to lose both NCR and Diebold, I mean, that was not acceptable because they're competitors. And so we were able to get in there, help them, get them to stay, to build a new headquarters, and it's all good. Good year, we were involved. You know, I wouldn't say you know, we were the whole key, but we closed the deal, got it done. And then Bob Evans, contrary to what some people think, they had a headquarters in Texas. Now, if I'm on the board of Bob Evans and I can get a much better deal, you know, and I don't have any connection to Ohio, you know, what do I care, right? I just want to get lower the cost for the shareholders. So it was important that we remediated that, and we have a number of, you know, there's some other good things happening. What I can tell you is, I was very pleased with the comments of Jamie Dimon, who says it looks like Ohio gets it. I was just told, got an email about a week ago from a Fortune 500 chemical company down in Georgia. They're looking to expand their business, and they were saying, you know, the CEO himself said, put Ohio on the list. Things seem to be improving. They seem to get it up there. And I think among a lot of business leaders in Ohio, I'm hearing good things, and we'll have an announcement shortly of an expansion of an Ohio company based on the fact that I think they knew that if they didn't expand here, I'd be up there to work them over. And this one is just something that makes a lot of sense, that when it comes out, you'll go, boy, that's good thinking. We also created Jobs Ohio, which is an important program for this reason. You know, getting development is not checking a box. Getting development is sitting with business people. Right, Alan? You want to deal with a person that understands the business, understands the capital needs, understands the capital structure, understands the difficulties that you're in. And when you have just a government bureaucracy, you can win some, but you're not moving at the speed of the marketplace. You're moving at the speed of statute. And we've had some success, but it's nothing that I'm satisfied with at this point. So we've created this not-for-profit organization. Its job will be to recruit the best and the brightest, and to get out there and touch base with the business community. Furthermore, I have these regional reps, and they are out there to represent me. I don't know, I've got 5 of them, maybe, something like that. How many do I have? Anybody know? Do I have any staff in the room? I see there's staff. 6 of them. Their job is, you know, their job is not to like go to Republican dinners and things like that. Their job is basically to get out in the community and touch base with businesses and to say, what do you need? What's the issue? Because we want to strengthen existing businesses. We're going to get more customers by dealing with our current customers than we are finding new customers. Am I right, John? So John's deal is, it's current customers at Jeni's that buy more. It's current customers at Jeni's that get other people to come to Jeni's. So we have to strengthen the businesses that are here before we worry about something in another place. But you ought to be able to chew gum and walk at the same time. So while we're taking care of Ohio businesses, we also ought to be in a position of going out and talking to businesses in other states, which we're doing. And we do have a lot of things going on. A lot of things, a lot of good things that are happening in terms of businesses here, businesses that might want to come in. I just got to be careful about what I talk about, because the minute I start talking about things before it's all done, before it's all worked out, I just get the press writing about it, and then I jeopardize things. So we got to just do them one at a time. But I feel pretty good about that. Common Sense Initiative is all of you have had these things that come from the government that just don't make any sense to you. Like, why do I have to do that? Up at this one place up in Cleveland, I guess, wherever, I can't remember exactly where businesses is, but because of the liquor stuff, they had to literally pour bottles of wine in by hand. You know, so it was driving them crazy, costing them money. We've had a lot of problems with regulations related to people being able to ship things into Ohio. We've solved those problems, but the point of the matter is, if you have something that is getting in your way, we want to remove it if it doesn't make any sense. Secondly, my philosophy is, if you want to open a business, if you want to be an entrepreneur, my basic philosophy is open the doors and we'll fill out the paperwork later. We cannot let paperwork get in the way of somebody who's got a good idea and wants to become an entrepreneur and hire people. So that's what this Common Sense Initiative is about. We lowered our workers' comp costs last. Did you get any benefit from that?
We expect to see benefit.
Good. It's 4% on the basic rate. We have a lot of other things that we can do to move the system along. We have a job site up that we're promoting that has been up, but nobody ever heard of it, called Ohio Means Jobs. We have about 70,000 job openings in the state. Nobody's filling them. We have 250-some thousand businesses in Ohio. Only 2,500 businesses post jobs on this website, which is free. I just talked to the CEO of Monster last week, because that's who we power the website with. And think about this. You get 250,000 businesses posting jobs, and then you can have people post their resumes. We're not doing this. I mean, we're doing it more, but we have, you know, a million miles to go on these things. But that takes you to the issue of training. We need to have very effective training. Our training programs are scattered in too many directions. We're trying to create, we're going to try to centralize that. Our friends in Washington, okay, and they have like 10 jurisdictions. That means that all these committee chairmen have their nose in the business of job training, and we really only need one. You know why we don't have one and we have 10? Anybody want to guess? Huh? What is the answer?
Everybody wants some power.
Everybody wants some power. So nobody wants to give up what they got. And it's got to be, we need leadership to force that along so that we can have a job training program that matches our needs in Ohio, not the needs somewhere else. In the meantime, we are going to make an effort to take community colleges, technical schools, vocational schools, and four-year institutions and create a seamless program so that a kid, your son or daughter, can begin to find their purpose earlier on. Now, we have badmouth vocational education, and that has been a mistake. I mean, just because you're in vocational education doesn't mean you can't become a physician. But let's stop badmouthing vocational education. And if we would do that, then we could get ourselves in a position of where we can train kids, get them into two-year school, get them into four-year school if they want to proceed, and we begin training people for the jobs that exist. Some of this is already being done, but not widespread enough. So if we can, you know, and also, by the way, we are going to balance this budget, eliminate the structural deficit, and we will maintain the income tax cut. Now, no one thought we could balance the budget and cut taxes. They said what was impossible. We passed that through the House. It's making its way through the Senate. My colleagues in the Senate are going to pass it. You know, there'll still be more modifications, but we're very pleased with where it is. When I'm done here, I go out to wash Hughes' car, so I make sure I get his vote on the budget. And but we're working our way through that. So you eliminate the structural deficit. We get, you know, it improves our ability to have better credit ratings. We reduce the income tax. By the way, the death tax is killed coming out of the House. So, you know, for people who are worried they're going to lose something or their family's not going to get something, we eliminate that death tax. You get the training going. You get a unit of people who understand business, who are working with business people. You get people trained. You leverage up the good things that we have in this state and take advantage of the natural benefits that you get. Good example, that's Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and the potential there. Leverage up the state statewide, take advantage of our location. We should be able to win this. And I think, you know, to quote a famous comedian, we are winning right now. But you know, we've been in the hole for a long time. And we've gotten some bad branding here. But we've got smart people. We've got a lot of great things in our communities. If we can just reduce these costs, which even includes the ability to reduce costs and re-engineer the government at the local level as well, you know, then we're in a position of where I think we can save the state. And I think we will save the state. So there's a lot of stuff going on. As we like to say in my office, we're boiling the ocean. And but it needed to be boiled. Because, you know, when you come into office and you're down 3 touchdowns, you can't go in and just run the ball up the middle all the time. You've got to have a vision, you've got to have a program, and you've got to move it. So I'm pretty pleased with where we are. And for those local governments, by the way, that have fewer dollars, we've given them the tools to control their costs. And let's just be clear, with public employees, we preserve their right to collectively bargain, but it's for wages and working conditions, not for pensions and health care. And what we're really trying to do is to let them control their costs, and we're also trying to balance things out. If you're a private sector worker and you pay 23% for your health care costs, and you're a public employee in the city and your average cost is 9%, to me that's a war on the middle class. We need to make sure we balance this out so that, first of all, it's balanced, it's fair to people in the private sector, and secondly, that we can get ourselves in a position where local governments can cope with fewer resources. Because once we get this done, eliminate these deficits, keep our costs low, which means keeping our taxes low, eliminate silly rules and regulations, get ourselves in a position of where we reward effectiveness in the workplace to reduce our workers' comp costs. Maybe we take a little bit more at the legal system. I don't know yet, but you train these people, get all that going, it's a bright tomorrow. You know, that's what we're after. Raising the standard of living for every Ohioan, particularly those who have been denied any degree of the prosperity they deserve living in this state. So, I think it's all pretty good. We've got a long way to go. So let me stop and clap. Jimmy, I'm going to take a cup of black coffee and I'll take your questions. So who wants to go first? Comments, questions, exclamation points, or whatever. Yes, sir.
Governor, I just wanted to say, as a citizen of Dublin, I think Dublin's been a great example in how to keep tax rates lower than their neighbors and make it a very competitive and diverse community. I think if we can do the same thing in the state of Ohio, it's a winning combination. I applaud everything you're doing to make Ohio more competitive. There's no reason Ohio can't be the best place to be.
You know, let me tell you some of the things that you have to worry about. I mean, Texas grew faster in 5 months than we grew in 10 years. We've lost 2 congressional seats. Our young people, you know, precious young people go to college and then a third of them leave after 3 years. Families are leaving. If they believe they're going to get a good, and Dublin, you know, Dublin's a great place. You know, it's got Cardinal Health. I mean, there's all kinds of cool things around. And the fact of the matter is that if our costs are not low, people will go where costs are low. And so it's essential. And what I had to do, what our team had to do more than me, was to make sure that when we